Hello everyone, this is Nagarajan. Welcome to QCode Express channel. In today's video, we're going to see the difference between Xpath and CSS Selector. So before getting to the session, actually some of my subscribers had asked me to create the cheat sheet for Xpath and CSS Selector. So based on their request, I've created the cheat sheets. I believe this session will be very helpful for the QAs who work on web automation. You can refer the cheat sheets for XPath and CSS Selector, right? So we'll get started. So let's see the difference between XPath and CSS Selector. So I don't want to bore you guys on talking about theories. So I'm going to talk at a high level. So I just wanted to emphasize the point that you need to remember while working on web automation. That's it. So no theories in this session. It's basically this session is going to be a very short video, okay? But it could be a very interesting video. So I'll be touching on the important areas for XPath and CSS Selector. So XPath is nothing but XML path of a web element. It's basically it identifies a web element on a web page that uses the conventional XPath expression. That's it. CSS selectors, everyone knows about that. So it's a string pattern. So it also identifies element based on the combination of HTML tags. And XPath, it traverses in both in forward and backward direction. That is, we can use parent, preceding sibling, ancestors. That is the grandparent. But those options are not available in CSS selector. And it is usually represented by I mean, on the XPath site I'm talking about, // tag name. Here we don't need to represent the //. We can directly, it can be represented directly using tag name attribute equal value. And in XPath, we have two different types of XPaths, absolute and relative. Here there is no such types here. And we have a main function called text that is available inside XPath. So that text function is not available inside CSS selector. In terms of performance, CSS selector is better compared to XPath. Okay, so that is the difference between XPath and the CSS selector. And this is a main interview question. People will be asking in every interview. You tell me the difference between XPath and CSS selector. You need to be very specific to the point that we discuss right now. Okay, let's move on to the demo place website. So this is the one of the best website to practice XPath and CSS allocator. So I just wanted to show you the site name. So demoplace.com is the site, right? Just click F12 on Chrome or Firefox browser, whatever browser that you're using. Just click on the elements, Control F. You can type the XPath or CSS locator. Okay, so this information should be useful for the newcomers who wanted to learn XPath and CSS locator. Okay, let's move on to the cheat sheet. So this is a cheat sheet I was talking about. So I've covered the various kinds of XPaths, okay, through which you can locate the element. So you can locate the element, entire web elements using /*. So I don't want to talk more on these every elements. Okay, let me highlight at a high level. You can find using ID. You can use negative condition as well. You can find the locator using class name, right? And you can use the combinations ID and class name, or you can use the OR condition as well. You can use the identify the element with an attribute. So the href is an attribute, right? So here we are specifying the index.html is the page name, right? You can use starts with the inside inside that you can use text function as well, and contains you can use @href here. You can use equals operator inside the text function contains. Okay, just practice and just make a note of this. You can have take the screenshots. Okay, write all this XPaths in the notepad, whichever way that is fine for you, right? My throat is not good today, so please bear with me. Okay, moving on to the next slide. You can identify the element using parent child also. Identify the child using last function. You can identify the child using the respective position of it, like this. Okay, can use access methods following ancestor, parent, child, following sibling, preceding sibling, self, descendant. Just you do one thing, just open up the demoplace.com site and then put all the experts and try to play around. You will definitely be able to get through all these things. Okay, so I don't want to talk on these, or I don't want to show you on the site. Okay, it's a direct way. You can visualize this thing and you can practice on your own. Now let's see the difference between absolute path and relative path. Okay, so absolute path, it starts from the root element to the desired element. It's a complete path. Whereas in relative path, it starts from any node of HTML DOM structure. Basically, it starts from single forward slash like this, slash HTML head body form table t body trth. Whereas in relative path, right, it starts from double forward slash, something like this. Okay, in terms of performance, right, absolute path is faster compared to relative path since it starts from the root node, right? So it is faster. And in the disadvantage side, right, high chances of failure comes in absolute path, whereas less chances of failures comes in relative path. If a developer is making changes frequently on the root nodes, then obviously there will be failures. And inside absolute path, we cannot use attributes, whereas in relative path we can use attributes. I mean, at href, this is called an attribute. Here we have mentioned the PhD index.html, right? So this is also the one of the important interview question. Just make a note of it and you can present it whenever they ask. Okay, let's move on. As I covered the cheat sheet for Xpath, I also covered for CSS Selector as well. So as I mentioned, the various kinds of CSS Selector ways in which you can locate an element by finding with all the elements, or finding the tag elements using locators, class name, the combinations, element and the attribute, starts with, ends with, contains, right? So the main difference you need to see in terms of CSS selector is text function is not available in CSS selector. Okay, whereas in XPath you can use text function. So this is the main advantage in XPath over CSS selector. Just try to remember this point alone. So this will be asked in interview as well. Okay, let's move on. As I showed you, right, for XPath we can use parent child. Inside the CSS selector also you can specify, you can identify the element, but here we'll have to use nth child, last child, something like this, nth of type to refer the particular position. Okay, but here the following ancestor, preceding sibling is not available in CSS selector. Okay, so as I said, it traverses only in forward direction, it does not move backward. So that is the main difference between and CSS selector. Okay, so let's move on to the XPath and CSS selector. See, I've categorized the differences with the help of comments as well. Okay, you can make a note of all these things. You can visualize the differences. We cannot remember all the syntaxes, right? So at times you might use XPath, at times you might use CSS selector. It's very difficult to remember all the syntaxes. For that, if you make a note of this commands, you can take a screenshot and you can note it down in the notepad. Okay, so whenever you find an element, right, you can use this and you can work very smoothly on automation side. So that is the main reason that I created this cheat sheets. Okay, this should be very useful while working on real automation. Okay, I've been putting more efforts on collecting these data, right? So just make a use of it. Okay, and your likes, subscriptions and comments really motivates me. Okay, I'll be posting more videos on different topics like Cucumber, Cypress, more things I'm planning to cover. Okay, please Do share with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Okay, thank you.